Welcome to the Short-Term Rental Source podcast. It is our mission to help you learn how to successfully launch and self-manage your short-term rental with less pain and earn you more money. Enjoy interviews with industry leaders and musings about this challenging but fun STR life. Here's your host, Kim Fitzpatrick.
Hi, everyone. Okay. You have your first guest. What do you do now? I recently have helped a new short-term rental owner work through setting up her actual space because she's local to me, so it was great. I could pop over there and we really got to connect face to face, which is awesome because I almost never get to do that. It's almost always virtually or online, so it was great to meet her face to face, see her property face to face, and really get a good feel for it. And then we set up her listing. She recently got her listing photos done, and she is currently hosting her first guest. And check-in went well, everything went great, and then she goes, oh my gosh, how am I gonna sleep? I have so many things going on in my head, so much is rolling around. Are they treating it well? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? And how do I manage this first guest? And I said, well, we breathe. We breathe through it, but don't expect to sleep tonight. You just won't. I can tell you to sleep and relax and everything's going to be fine, but you're not going to actually sleep or relax or believe me that everything's going to be fine. You're still going to stress and you're going to worry. So let's just know that that is what you're going to do. But with that, we don't have to stress and worry like so much. We certainly, do not want to be staring at our cameras on our phone and watching their every move, because nothing they are going to do is going to be good enough. Okay, let me repeat that. Nothing your first guest is going to do is going to be good enough. Everything they do is going to be weird. It's not going to be what you would do. They're not going to live how you would live. They're not going to treat your things how you would treat them. They're just not going to do anything right. They will not win. Okay? So now we know that. Now we can figure out how to deal with that. Okay? So here's the thing. If you are local to your property, do not go over there and bug your guests during their stay. Just do not. If you have to do face-to-face check-in, that's great. They will love that, but you got to keep that thing brief. They don't want to meet you. They want to meet your property and they want to start their vacation. I'm sure they love you. You're an amazing person. We all do, but they're not here for you. They're here for your property. So meet them, give them the keys, whatever you need to do. Ideally, you have a door lock and you don't have to meet them, but sometimes we do, and that's great. Go over just the high points that you must communicate with them and let the rest alone. You should have a welcome book in your house. We have a free template that you can use so that you can make your own without making it from scratch. I know looking at a blank paper is really challenging at times, so we're not asking you to do that. We're giving you the tools so that you can just plug things in that we've already helped you think of. So use that free welcome book if you like, or find one of your own. Just make sure you have a welcome book to tell them all the things. And then just, if you need to meet them, keep it brief. Much briefer than I'm going to keep this video. Keep it brief. Be warm and inviting and friendly, and then let them go and let them have their vacation so that they can enjoy the space. And so stay off the cameras and don't go into your place after they've left. Well, don't go into your place while they're there. Number one, that is a no-go unless something happens and you need to be there and you've asked for permission and they've granted it. For instance, there is a slow draining tub at somebody's place, and the guest said, hey, your tub is draining slowly. And she goes, I'll bring some Drano, I'll be right over. And if it needs something further, I will call a plumber. And the guest said, that's great. This is a great time for us. It's no big deal. Come on in. Great. There has been communication. It's written, and everybody is on the same page, and she's been granted permission. But other than that, you should not go over there. If everything is running smoothly, there is no reason. You do not go peek on them. I stayed at a guest at a brand new host's place for my kids' mountain bike tournament once. And one kid didn't need to go to the mountain, so he stayed back. And the other kid I took to the mountain. And while we were gone, my other child is staying in the Airbnb, and he's just like playing on his phone, most likely watching YouTube, most likely. If I know him at all, that's what he was doing, but quietly. So the host, I think, assumed that all three of us were gone. She went into the location. We were her very first guest, and she peeked around and startled my son. It probably freaked her out too. And I was like, oh, that's a no-no. She's not supposed to do that. I don't really care. I expected it because I know that anxious feeling of a new host, but it's a no-go. And if I was a super snobby, very particular guest, I could have lit her up in the review. I could have called Airbnb. I could have felt unsafe or violated. I didn't feel any of those things. And my son, he's in this world, so he knows. He was just like, ugh, why is she here? And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were there. And she left promptly. But I think she just wanted to peek to make sure everything was okay. And it's just a no-go. Don't do it. But I know the feeling, like I know the desire. We just can't always act on our desires, right? Like that's human nature to have the desire, but it's adulting and responsible business ownership to not always act on our desires that are not beneficial to everyone involved in our business. So don't do that. But when the guest checks out, you're welcome to go in there. However, I caution you, because even if they are clean and tidy and they've respected your space and they've communicated well and they've told you how great of a time they've had and how much they love it and they just adore you as a host and they adore your space and they want to come back, even then, they, as your first guest, will have moved something, put something on a different shelf that you purposely put there because you thought it was the most beautiful right there. They might have moved a chair or a coffee table or done something, and you're just like, how could they? They don't respect my space. I'm freaking out. What terrible guess. Or maybe they left some trash in the trash can, or maybe their trash didn't make it to the trash can, or maybe there's a dirty dish or two in the sink. And you're like, I tried so hard. I worked so hard. I put my blood and sweat and tears and heart and soul and all of my money into this place, and they've just disrespected it. Right? And you get all worked up. But here's the thing. It's good to have a level, like a layer of protection, a little bit of a shelter from who they are and how they live in your space, because even if they're awesome, they're not going to do it the way you did it. And maybe it's just best that you don't see how they live in your space. So I highly encourage you to hire your housekeeper to go in and clean up after them, and then go inspect after the housekeeper and make sure it's ready for the next guest. You will find that it's much more stress-free, and you're not worried, and you're not grumpy, and you're not judgmental towards your guests, and everything goes really smooth, and it's much more rewarding experience. But it is challenging when you decide to be your own cleaner and you are dealing with taking out the trash that they were supposed to take out, and you're dealing with I don't know, like a stain on the sheet, and you just bought these sheets for them, right? And like you just can't get all discombobulated over these things. These are little things. There are costs of doing business in this business. It's not all revenue. There are significant costs involved, and you need to provide for your guests, and they don't always respect it in the way that you would want them to respect it, even when they're being respectful. So please shelter yourself from the daily goings on of your guests. Let them be, give them their privacy. Most of the time, if you have vetted well and you have communicated well and you've worked with someone who's been around, they can kind of manage your expectations and they can help you through. But those first couple of times, will be stressful, and you should not be preoccupied with your guests. Get busy. Find something else to do during their stay, so that you are not monitoring your cameras and you are not trying to go over there I just baked them cookies. I just wanted to give them a cookie. No, you do not. Don't do that. Just stop. They know what you're doing. They know you're spying on them. Don't try to justify it. Just let them be. Anyway, I say these things from experience, from wanting to do these things and having to like temper myself too. I host in my own home. This is my home, people. And this is my Airbnb in Portland. This is my short-term rental here in Portland. It is my home. So I am very familiar when people come in and they mess up the stuff on the shelf that I specifically put in a spot. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why is my pink yoga flamingo on the third shelf when I put it on the second shelf on the left? And just like, oh, they had a small child here. They were protecting my yoga flamingo, which I appreciate. But when it's up high and I had it down low in a really cute spot, you know, like you don't always understand and you want to freak out and you want to be like, oh, they don't care. They don't care. I went all this work and they don't care. They do care. They usually do care. And that's what we have to remember. Don't get caught up in the horror stories that you hear. Not every guest is horrible. Not most guests are horrible. The vast majority are lovely and amazing humans, and they care about your space, but they don't live in it as the same way as you do. So keep that in mind. And if you are prone to anxiety, which we usually are, especially at the beginning, then put a shelter up between you and what is causing your anxiety. And that is not watching your cameras, not going over there. Make sure the housekeeper cleans before you see it, and then go over there and think, what a wonderful adventure I've gotten myself into, rather than seeing it all firsthand without that filter. So that's my advice to you. And I just really, I hope you enjoy this journey. And if you need help with it, of course, I am here for you. If you need me to help talk you off a ledge because you got something going on at your place, you can always reach out. I am here for you. I'm here to help you. And honestly, sometimes guests are not ideal and you do need help knowing, is this fine or is this crazy? I don't know. It could be either. Bring it to my attention and I can walk you through my thoughts and my experiences and give you some feedback and maybe let you know what you need to do if you need to take action, or if you just need to go practice your hobby for a day or two. Anyway, that's that on your very first guest. It's stressful and exciting, and I want to leave you with this. 24 hours after check-in, you are going to get a little message from Airbnb platform if you're using Airbnb, and that money is it's going to say your money is on the way, and you know that you're getting that deposit 24 hours after check-in. So hopefully that eases your anxiety a little when you see that nice little donation, not donation, but put into your bank account for you. So breathe through it. You got this. Ask for help if you need it. We'll chat later.